So as that's getting queued up, I will tell you that this was quite a labor of love. And we really enjoyed putting this short film together. And, you know, hopefully you'll see some folks that you know, or be introduced to some folks that you may not have known or may have never met before. I will say we did lose one of our tellers last year, the beloved Miss Queen Bruton, who is also in this film. She transitioned last October, but we're so glad that we were able to capture her story in this narrative. All right, are we having some technical difficulties with our audio?
We shouldn't be. It's playing on my side.
Okay.
Let me Justin, to make sure that the sound is queued up on your side.
I'll say we can't hear it from.
We can't hear it
as an audience.
Okay, can you look at the share link to make sure that the audio is enabled?
So I will, while we're trying to resolve that, we'll tell you that this year the History and Culture Committee is focused on education, with our theme being freedom to learn. And so we last year did an afternoon of remembrance where we highlighted, well, let me go back. We highlighted what it took to make a Southside. So we had Dr. Larry Rivers, Dr. Tamika Hobbs from Florida Memorial University. She was the creator and founder of the Social Justice Institute. And FAMU's Dr. Tiffany Packer. And from antebellum forward, they talked around the making of a Southside, giving the historical references of life in the North Florida area for, you know, the folks that settled in Southside, from the establishment of Florida A&M University, which is a huge contributed to the history and the making of Southside. I mean, when we did these interviews, everyone had a FAMU story. So it just, you know, showed how integral, how FAMU has played an integral part in the lives of the residents of Southside. So, you know, that was our focus last year, but this year we were moving on to education. And so we're looking at the schools in the Southside. And actually we will do an evening of remembrance, which will feature, again, Dr. Tamika Hobbs, Dr. Tiffany Packer, and Dr. Mary McGee. And they will talk around education and learning and how the schools came about from one-room schoolhouses on up. And of course, FAMU will also be in that mix. So that will be our evening of remembrance. We moved it to the evening, and that'll be at the AC Marriott on Thursday, May 19th at 6 p.m. But we are, another component of what we're doing with the education piece is highlighting Southside schools. So we have 9 Southside schools where we are having the youth do oral history projects. They will collect oral histories from either family members or family friends or notable alums from the schools to share at a later date. We are also planning a school tour, just a ride-by tour, but we'll end up at the community centers, 2 of the community centers on the South Side, where students and some alum will be present to talk around, you know, the schools and some of the history of the schools, as well as collect some of those oral histories and schedule oral histories for a later date. So we are super excited to extend this to Leon County Schools, who actually kind of had the project of doing school histories or collecting school histories or gathering the information around school histories on their agenda when we actually approached them about doing this. So they have been a really good partner, Leon County Schools. They'll be offering us the buses to transport folks from the site on May 21st, actually over at Happy Motoring. That'll be our onboarding site for the tours that we will host on during the festival. So that'll take place again Saturday, May 21st, beginning around 10 a.m. And there'll be 2 different buses going to 2 different community centers and going past 3 different schools on each bus. So again, super excited about that. And then we also, prior to that event, are doing a placemaking event in April, this month, actually, at the Old West Enrichment Center, which will talk around, how do we preserve our lands and our spaces and places. So we have, and I don't have it before me, my co chair, Rachel, this has been a little bit more of her project. I'm gonna pull it up if y'all will bear with me. Christique, how's our audio?
We are ready to go.
Okay, I'm gonna let you all do that, and I'm gonna pull up more details about the other event.
All right, here's the video. This is our Southside Narratives video.
If we do not, and I say this again, if we do not find a way to preserve our history, then it will be lost.
Some of our old people, older ones that have grown up in the neighborhood, to come back and restore it back.
The thing I tell people about Kissimmee Street is that these were all 2-person households, mother, father, children. And everybody had a say-so. I mean, if I walked down the street and something was wrong, I felt comfortable to go to any house on that street. It was a beautiful neighborhood.
Well, it was a close neighborhood. We were a family. Everybody knew everybody. Everybody knew your business. If you did something wrong, somebody's mom would tell your mom and you were in trouble. It was, and everybody knew everybody. Everybody knew your business. If you did something wrong, somebody's mom would tell your mom and you were in trouble. It was, and everybody, all the parents took care of all the children. We ate at everybody's house. We didn't have to lock our doors. It was just a family.
There was a lot of love. Now, sometimes it was, not so good, but it says take a village to raise a child. Well, we didn't know what was happening in the Bond area, not far from there. We didn't know what was happening in the J. Gaither Park unless you were old enough or had a bicycle or whatever. We didn't know what was happening in Frenchtown, only what you heard about. But what we had was each other.
I think without J. Gaither neighborhood, a lot of the kids would not have had the wonderful childhood that we had. We had a great childhood, It's so much different when you know the people on your street are looking after you.
The beautiful thing about that, which is so sad when you live in this time, is that anyone would pick you up and carry you, and you were not afraid. That's the thing. Now we're afraid for people to stop. We stayed from not to stop. But there was no fear that whoever was going across town would take you safely.
On the corner of Pasco and Tanner was this huge drive-in theater. That was a segregated theater. My folks took us to the movies there.
The white people mostly lived in Appalachian Ridge and on Meridian. That's most of what now most is black people in Appalachian Ridge now.
We always survived. Just like my mama said, the white people stayed in Appalachian Ridge, we stayed in South City.
There was a time when Appalachian Ridge was European American, not African American. And this is, I guess from time, the 50s when they built those houses right through the 70s. That wall was, the way it was explained to me, signified this is not your territory, you're not allowed inside of here. And people say that when they came in there, they got harassed and whatever it was. And at some point, it sounds like a lot of people realize, listen, walk around, don't even go through there.
I always wanted to get away from Tallahassee, and primarily the reason for that is when I went to Rickards High School, my whole idea was that the people did not really care for you in the classrooms. We had such division. Pretty much the white students sat from the middle to the right side of the classroom. The black students sat from the middle to the left side of the classroom.
We're going to do
the teacher would teach, and if you wanted to respond, the teacher would basically ignore the black students and would call on the white students. Even if a white student did not have anything to say, and a black student could be wanting to say something.
Pepper Drive was our white neighbors that was supposed to be a part of that neighborhood, because the segregation at that time, if you travel down those streets now, you'll see that Pepper Drive is still separated from Alberta and Hernando Drive. So those are one of the things that you can notice back then, that you had the separation still. Even though you had upper middle class blacks that lived in that neighborhood, you still had the separation of that during that period of time.
That was the way life was at that time. The white fountain and the colored fountain. And I always wondered, did their water taste different or what?
It was just time for a change. It's been time for a change, but black people had not spoken out. They just went with the flow. And that's what had happened for a number of years. They just went with the flow. Whatever was designed for us during that time, we just, as they would have said, your place and you know where it is, so we didn't make any ripples on the water.
When I was in school, you rode the bus, you had to go to the back. I don't care how many seats up front, you could get settled down. You had to go in the back.
I was one of the ones I almost got arrested because I wouldn't get up off the front seat. The bus coming from FAMU in 55, I think it was, 54, 55.
I think the first demonstration was in 56, I believe, when the Carrie Jakes, Mr. Patterson and Jakes, refused to get off the bus because the bus driver wouldn't give them their money back. So I thought that they were justified in finally saying, you know, we're sick of this. And so I was with them all the way.
It was, it got very well organized. That there were carpools organized to take people to work and to, but
boycott really brought the bus system down on its knees. And
oh yeah, pecan season was the season for the kids that pick pecans so we can go to the fair. Our parents told us that if you want to go to the fair, you got to pick pecans up and sell them so you have money to go to the fair. And we did that. It was the guys would get up in the tree and thrash them, and we would pick them up, and on a good rainy day, they would knock them down, and we would get out, load, and we would take it to, we would sell our pecans to, we call him No Leg Robinson. Yeah, he didn't have any legs, but he was an honest man though. You know, he treated the kids right.
You go and pick pecans, whether people want you to get their pecans or not. We did, and we would sell them to get money to go to the fair. There was a place over in Bonn, over this way somewhere. My grandma lived on Distant Street, and someplace not too far from where she was. And in fact, it was so funny because my cousin Wendy and my grandma had pecan trees. She picked pecans, and we steal her pecans out. She's already picked and go sell them. She acted like she didn't know we were getting them. I know she knew we were getting them.
Did I ever do what? Do you know what a pecan tree looks like? That's how I got to the fair. That's how we went to the fair in November when the fair came over by Pocono Village. Behind, like I said, the old gym, there were rows of pecan trees. You had to get there early because that was your fair money. If you had no fair money, you didn't go to the fair because you didn't have no date. Yes, I picked pecans. I also picked dates off these palm trees right here. And you could sell them to some people too, make some money.
Oh yeah, that's how you got to go to the fair. Nobody gave you money for the fair. No, you had to pick pecans, get up the tree, so you make your money, go to the fair.
I call it a hustle, but that was a little business for me. Harriman Myers, you remember Harriman Myers? Harriman Myers were, I think pecans were like 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 cents a pound back, but that would be equivalent to $1 a pound now. There were pecan trees all over the campus, so you could just move around, and in a lot of the yards you could get permission, and there was good money in pecans.
If we do not find a way to preserve our history, then it will be lost.
So,
right. Well, hopefully you all enjoyed that. I will just quickly tell you
I just want to reiterate.
Go ahead, Christy.
Finish up.
I was just going to mention the Southside placemaking event that we're having, innovative approaches to preserving culture and communities, on April 23rd from 9 a.m. to 12 noon at the Old West Enrichment Center, 2344 Lake Bradford Road. And our panel will be Ernest Coney Jr. from the CDC of Tampa, Dr. Patrick Mason. He's a professor of economics, and he actually is a historian of sorts over at FSU, and as well as T. Dallas Smith, who has a commercial real estate and development expansive experience in that. And so the premise behind this is to explore post-emancipation Reconstruction era through the modern day. And the program will be an open dialogue around historic urban planning and the effect of ongoing changes with often disproportionately negatively affected Tallahassee's historic Black neighborhoods. So we'll be talking about the new airport gateway, you know, some of the threats that might have to established communities and businesses and things of that nature, and explore the opportunities for cultural placemaking in present day. So it should be a robust conversation, presentations and conversations. And so the entire community is invited to come out and participate in that. And I will turn it back over to Krista.
I want to open it up for any questions that any of you may have. Again, this video was exclusively prepared for the Soul of Southside movement. The goal, I see some of your comments, is to prepare a series that we can begin to piece together this community and really flip the script locally and nationally about communities like a Southside, and to really explore the depth and richness and value of Black and African-American communities that gets lost in the weeds of social issues and challenges that are really couched in historic disenfranchisement, historic disinvestment in these communities, in our communities. So I really, really look forward to us as we continue to invest in this work. I want to give a straight shout out to Nicole and to Rachel Porter with the Florida Historic Capitol Museum, who took this vision of documentary and brought, along with the assistance, of course, of our team, brought these voices to bear. And also to Florida Humanities, who invested early on in us moving forward with this production. We can't do anything like this without funding and support from our state and local partners. Also to, I see Jocelyn Flagger on here, the partnership of elder care services and helping us to procure many of the seniors that actually participated in this video and participated in the event. And I want to acknowledge several of our team members that have joined us. Brandy Knight, who is our Expo chair for the Soul Southside Festival, working very diligently to procure vendors and youth entrepreneurs for those aspects of our festival. I believe that I saw Jenny Daly on here at some point. I think she may have logged off. And to just all of you who had some engagement. Stephanie Bowden, I see you on here. Thank you to Comcast for your partnership and support. They brought us Wi-Fi in the 9th hour so that we could run our video and be able to capture much of the footage from our event last year. We are so grateful for that support, as well as Coca, who is always just a partner and ready, standing by to assist in anything that brings art and value together. So with that being said, does anyone have any questions directly for Nicole before we move on to just general scope information about the festival? All right, so I am going to set us up on our slide here. So this is a week-long endeavor this year with a pre-event. So we're beginning to categorize this festival as less than a festival than as a season, festival season, because there's just so much. There's so much to delve into. There's so much to discuss. And so we want to make sure we're doing a good job for the community in the way that we approach a community like a Southside. And so again, just restating that the goal of this festival is to be very intentional about celebrating Southside Tallahassee. Now, does that mean we don't celebrate Tallahassee as a whole? No, that means that as we celebrate and we put forth the story and the energy of Southside Tallahassee, that we celebrate Tallahassee in that, because the whole of this community plays a part in the role of how a Southside has emanated and how it will grow moving forward. It took a whole community to vote for the kind of investment that Southside will be experiencing in the next 20 years. It took our whole community to do that. So we do not exclude the partnership of our community holistically, but we want to make sure that we curate content, we curate the kind of perspective that lends to understanding of culture. Again, if you just joined us, we operate under what we call equity in practice philosophy, which means that we practice the intersectionality of inclusion, diversity, and engagement in all that we do. And that is the reason why we are here today, to make sure that we make good and walk the walk of engagement by giving you all the opportunity to learn more about this event for your partnership, potentially in engagement. So as Nicole talked about earlier, we want to make sure that we observe emancipation, and running concurrent to these themes are Florida's emancipation. Our emancipation happens on the 20th of May. Our festival will always run the week of emancipation. And so it's really important that we as a movement observe and give place and give due reverence and honor to our local history as it regards emancipation. And so on the 20th, we don't plan any events during the timeframes where the historic and local observances are taking place. So from the morning of, when they do the grave markings and decorations and honoring, to the midday when they do the actual reading at the Knott House, we do not program anything on the day of emancipation, giving place and giving due reverence to those activities of the day. And we will work to support and to promote involvement and engagement of those coming to town for the festival in those very critical and very important events in our local history. On the Thursday that kicks off our weekend-long events, we are so excited to be able to provide intergenerational programming for the community via the Solar Southside Festival. And so it'll kick off on the not the 20th, but the 19th. With our Emancipation and Observance, Honor, and Reflection. We last year hosted over 400 seniors at our drive-by fish fry. And so this year we plan on doing that again today, definitely in care, elder care services, and all of our organizations and community centers that host our Southside seniors and seniors as a whole. We know that we're going to serve 600 seniors this year because we served 400 and ran out. So the ones that didn't get to eat, they will get to eat this year. And you get to do it in the convenience of your car, because we're still being very, very conscious of the health circumstances of many of our seniors. Many of them are immunocompromised. So we want to make sure that they can come and have some enjoyment while in the safety of their vehicle. It'll be hosted by the Almighty, and the sheriff is going to be on standby to hand out peppermints and fish if need be for those that will be driving by that fish fry. And that kicks off, that's our first official weekend kickoff event, that honoring to our seniors. As you can see, we're very big on honoring past generations. So we kick it off with that honor to them. And then from there, we roll on to our afternoon of gratitude. Now, this is where our teens are front and center. And so we are planning events that are geared towards teens and college graduates, college students, to be able to come to Lake Anita and family engage in activities and events and enjoyment and celebration. There we'll be hosting our first ever wall of gratitude, where people can come and write what they're thankful for, what memories in Southside they're thankful for, and really just giving those unsung community heroes an opportunity and venue to be shared and to be promoted. We also will have, of course, African drum and dance performances and drum performances from local schools. So we really look forward to that being a great afternoon of gratitude and energy, kicking off our events for the weekend. And then we'll be having our evening of remembrance, as Nicole indicated, on the 19th. We will be gathering at Parkview at Cascades for our presentation of the project that she spoke of earlier with the school narrative, Southside school narratives. And that'll be an intergenerational piece that I think will bring great value and great insight into the community, its history and its current events. And then we move on to all of it is exciting, but I love the stuff that is intentionally intergenerational. And so we will kick off our Youth Entrepreneurship Expo and Pitch Competition not on the weekend, but on the preceding weekend. So the preceding weekend this year, we have events on Saturday, and it'll start with our 5K, our inaugural 5K, which will begin at 7 a.m. that morning. And then we will roll on over to Bond, because Greater Bond is doing their community block party that day. So we're going to take the energy from our 5K and push it over to Bond community so people can go over there around 11 to participate in their block party, experience their events and their entertainment. And then at 2 p.m., in partnership with WFSU, we have our Youth Entrepreneurship Expo and Pitch Competition. This is the Power Partnership in Action. FSU, which is an innovation park, which is in Tallahassee, Southside, has asked to co-host this event this year. So you'll see a lot of content rolling out about youth entrepreneurship from the SOS Southside Festival, and that will be in partnership with WFSU and FAMU School of Business and Industries Lemonade Day. So that is really exciting. That's coming up. We're asking 30 youth entrepreneurs from our regional area, Tallahassee and our regional area, to come and participate. We will open up WFSU from 2 to 5 p.m. for the community to come and participate in the youth entrepreneurship event. We will be giving out over $5,000 in cash prizes to first, second, and third place winners of our pitch competition. And so those advertisements, the expo registration information is out now. And Brandy Knight, who is over our pitch competition, is on here. And Brandy, would you like to share a little bit about what's upcoming and how people can engage with you, how youth can engage with you for this particular opportunity during the SOS Southside Festival? Brandy? She may be multitasking. We'll come back to her. And then on that, let's follow on that Saturday after the youth entrepreneurship and all the great excitement at WFSU, we will be rolling into Sunday, which will be our kickoff event at Jacob Chapel Church. That's our tentative site for that event. And we will have our, we did our kickoff last year, kind of this succession of events, and again, PT not anymore. So we're going to be doing it at Jacob Chapel on the 15th, and we are working towards making sure that that event, I think it's going to be an amazing kickoff event. We have local inspirational gospel singers that will be on that agenda. We will set forth plainly what the goal and opportunities are for this year's festival, and really just have just a prayer and covering for all of the events coming up for the week, and do that in grand and appropriate fashion. And then rolling into the week-long events, we have partnership events going on every day that week. And we'll roll out the final schedule in the coming days so that we can share with you all the opportunities. And of course, on Saturday, which I want to make sure I define for here today with all of our partners here, we make a breakfast opportunity available. We call it our Sunrise Community Breakfast. But the purpose of that breakfast is to bring us all together. We haven't had the longest table in a while. And so our community breakfast is an opportunity to open up that table once again and to be able to host all of you as nonprofit organizations, but also have your table out so that the whole community can come out under the guise of breakfast to explore who you are, to curate resources, to take it back to the neighborhoods and communities. And the reason why is because Southside is full of folks that are great air traffic controllers. I'm always getting a call from somebody who told them that they need to call me. And that's because you don't just have the people who are visible guiding and leading people. You have a lot of folks who are just grassroots folk who are telling people where they need to go to get resources. So this breakfast is our opportunity to push you out there to our residents and to our neighbors in Southside and to our region, those who are be able to have breakfast and to be able to share with them the resources and opportunities that you all have. And we would love to have your partnership with that. Again, that is something that Brandy would be able to facilitate under her leadership as the Expo and vendor chair, but definitely want to put that on your map. That will happen on the 21st on Saturday morning. If your nonprofit is interested in being a part of that, please let us know. We would love to have your partnership in sharing out to the community. Our vision is to have over 1,000 residents out there for breakfast. We will feed every single one of them. We just want them to be present so that they can see it, all the information and see you. and get your resources to take back to the neighborhoods and communities. And then, you know, with us having a huge focus on neighborhood and business impact, we have opportunities for vendors to be able to host tables or host food trucks there the whole Expo weekend. When we kick off on our sundown showcase of entrepreneurs on Friday evening, that will be the first night of venue for our vendors. I can tell you now that folks came last year and they were upset they didn't bring enough stuff. I don't think that they, of course, it being a first year festival, they didn't really understand what was going to happen to them, but they were able to really benefit from the opportunity present during that festival. We had over 3,500 people that came through last year, and that was with COVID restrictions. We really weren't allowed to have over 400 people on the site at any time. And so we know that people were coming in and out, and we were keeping track, and people stayed and people went. It was just an amazing energy. So we want to keep that up. And we do have festival economic impact data that we will be collecting from our vendors to show the economic impact. And we'll be trying to develop that because we want to put together the framework as festivals as economic drivers in communities. We have amazing festivals here in Tallahassee, and a lot of them are economic development drivers. And we want to make sure that we document it well so that we can replicate that profitability scenario for all of our festival vendors, and we can have that guaranteed story for them in times to come. And then, of course, as always, we're curating neighborhood history and making sure that the story of the community is out there. Why? Because when we increase the visibility and viability of the story, we increase the value and the understanding of the community. And so we are partner with Meeks Eton Black Archives at FAMU, because you need somewhere to be able to store all this great content. And we are going to be focusing, as Nicole said earlier, on Southside neighborhood schools to develop a similar piece as you've just seen today. Does anyone have any questions? Any questions? You don't have to ask them on the chat. You can unmute yourself and ask them. All right. And so this is where we are. And I wanted, in the last few minutes of our meeting, and then going into some great, hopefully 30 minutes of question and answering when we finish, which we've appropriated time for, because it's really important that we leave here and that you all leave here with a great understanding of what the Soul of Southside movement is and what our role is in Tallahassee Southside moving forward. And we call this a movement because it is. It's under the fiscal organization of the Advisory Council, which is a nonprofit 501c3 economic, community, and housing development organization. It has a grassroots board of directors and growing. We have 5 additional directors we'll be adding that will represent the neighborhoods and represent the different entities within Tallahassee Southside. We are really focused on authentic representation. And so we want to develop a sustainable platform for neighborhood art and commerce integration. It is really important that we understand the value of commerce engagement and integration with all of those components, because we believe that they bring great value to each other. We also want to collaborate to create a Southside site to do business for our vendors and for Southside micro entrepreneurs to continue to market their services and products and be able to expand their reach, which is what we work so hard for with our marketing committee. Our goal is to expand our reach to 1 million viewers and reactors so that we can have that base where we can scale our reach and we can bring great value to our vendors and to our micro entrepreneurs that connect to the movement. We also want to create a Southside Arts Collaborative that serves to integrate authentic and homegrown art and performing artists with showcasing opportunities at home and abroad. More on that later. Grow our Soul of Southside brand to reach, and I think we've already exceeded 250 digital viewers. So yep, clap, clap. And we want to make sure we're producing constantly content that's focused on the neighborhood and its history and its culture. The neighborhoods, their history and their culture. We also want to program like Anita. I want to be extremely clear. We want to create a South stage, and we believe that this is a key in a a cornerstone equity and practice thought, because right now, Lake Anita, we go and we trick it out for our festival, but organizations that wanted to use Lake Anita for similar purposes after the Solar Southside Festival could not, because it doesn't have a stage, it doesn't have appropriate infrastructure in terms of electricity access, lighting, facility use in terms of bathrooms and other kind of storage spaces that would be germane to activating a park, to creating an active park. And to the credit of the city and county, it was never meant to be an active park. And so we've kind of forced through this festival a new way of thinking about the Lake Anita Plaza, because we wanted to bring that equity to that space, to be an old club over there that everybody knew about. So it seems appropriate to use it as a gathering space for arts and entertainment. So we hope to partner with COCA, other arts advocates, to create that space there for ongoing entertainment in that south stage. And the vision is to create another Austin City Limits type concept with a Southside flavor there at South Stage. So we look forward to developing that more, but first the infrastructure has to be there. And of course, using the flip side and using the new narrative in Southside to attract investment in housing and commercial building renovation and cultural exhibition opportunities and other venues to increase visibility and value within Tallahassee Southside. So that is the great vision and mission. And on a week basis during the Solar Southside Festival, we do all of this, which is exciting because now we can start saying, okay, we see the vision of what we can create in a week in Tallahassee Southside. Now, how can we make sure that we keep that moving, we keep that going in other times, in other seasons of the year, keep that great vibe visible and high. We also I know that Jenny Daly, who serves as our fundraising chair and is appropriate in that space, she's such a blessing to the movement. And we've developed a fundraising plan. We are actively seeking sponsors and partners with the appropriate levels. We have a sole sponsor level at $25,000, a vision sponsor levels, community sponsor levels, heritage sponsor, and family sponsors. We have had so many people that have contacted us that want to be involved. We've been sending information out right and left. If you and your organization would like to be and be on that level of partnership with this movement, please let us know. We would love to discuss the benefits that come with those levels. And we'd also like to invite you all. We are going to be doing a Brunch with Soul event on the 11th, April 11th, and we will follow up this event today in the video with an invitation for you to join us for breakfast. And Nicole can speak a little bit to that event and answer any questions in regards to that. And then we will take from our group here questions from you.
Yes, so the breakfast, our Brunch with Soul will be at the Catering with Care, which is the old Nick's restaurant on South Monroe, from 8 to 10 on Monday, April 11th. And we invite you all to participate. We'll get a registration link and the flyer over to LaShawn for her to share.
Amazing. And we are a team approach. We believe in collaborative leadership. So as you see me pitching things, I understand that, although you do have a quarterback, I throw the ball all the time. This is not my event. This is our team's event. This is our community's event. And I think that we're setting the example appropriately in the way that we honor and we grant place to the thought leadership involved in the movement. And we hope that it'll be a great example. And I know many of you share the same type of collaborative leadership spirit in your organizations, and hope that we can look forward to partnering with many of you as we roll this event out this year. And so Justin and LaShawn, we really appreciate United Partners for Human Services for giving us the opportunity this afternoon to just share about the Solar Southside movement, and we hope you'll partner with us as we grow this into a significant economic driver for our community.
Thank you so much, Christy, again, for allowing us and our membership to get a chance to learn more about the Soul of Southside Festival, to learn more about the purpose, why it exists, what it is, and how it is a benefit to our community. I know many of our membership, as well as myself, learned a lot just in this time span of being able for you to share and tell us about not even just the festival itself, but the history and the roots within the Southside community and being a part of the Southside area in Tallahassee, Florida. To our membership, thank you all for coming on this afternoon. We greatly appreciate it. And we greatly thank you for being able to work with our Audible and move from in-person to a virtual meeting, but it is great to see all of your faces here today. Again, if you would like any more information about the Soul of Southside Festival, please visit their website as well as their Facebook page, as they put constant updates, constant applications out there for vendors and different things. And I know the schedule will start to come out more and more as the events approach us and things like that. And if there's anything you need from us as UPHS, any connections that you need us to make with their chairs, as well as Christique herself, please let us know and we will assist you in the best way possible. Again, I just would like to thank you, Christique, for coming on today and sharing this wealth of information and knowledge with us on the Southside area and how important this festival is to the city, to the infrastructure of the city of Tallahassee as a whole. Is there anything else from any other of our community partners that they would like to share? Any questions? Christique, do you have anything to follow up with as well before we close out?
I will take any questions. This meeting is for you all. And again, engagement is very important to us. So we would take any questions. I saw one in the chat about the Expo dates. The dates of the actual Expo where businesses will be posted up to sell, to be able to sell items is the 20th and the 21st. So we do our sundown showcase on the evening of the 20th, which is the 20th of May. And we do a big concert, and we'll have time from 5 until 9:45 for Expo on that day for vendors. And then it'll be all day on Saturday, starting at 10:30 a.m., I believe, setting up at the plaza for vendors to vend all day long. We'll have all day music festival from there. And it's 10:30 because from 7 until 10:30, we'll have our nonprofit partners participating in the community breakfast. So on Friday evening and on Saturday all day, opportunities for Expo during the Soul Southside Festival.
Hi, Christy. This is Donna with Endowed Theater. Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good. So I have a question about Bond, because I know that there was some great emphasis on the Bond community. And I think it's awesome that you're lifting up the history here in Bond. Are there going to be any festivities in the greater Bond neighborhood?
There actually is going to be a festival in Greater Bond. It's going to be a block party that they are planning currently that we will promote as a part of the event. It's set to take place on the 14th of May from 11 a.m. until, I believe, 3 or 4 p.m. More information will be coming out from, I'm sure, the city on that very soon. But we'll be working in support and partnership with their event. And they'll have all day entertainment and a lot of different things that they'll be doing. I'm not thinking they'll be so focused on history, but they may have some components of that to share as well. But definitely we'll get more information to you as that team develops their event.
Great. Glad to hear that's a component. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone else? Any more questions, comments? Well, alrighty then. We want to thank you all again for participating again and making this audible with us this afternoon from in-person to virtual due to the weather for our Soul of Southside informational session. Again, on behalf of UPHS and our team, we want to thank you all for coming and taking the time out of your schedules to learn this wealth of information, as well as Christique and her team with us. Please come out to the Soul of Southside and all the events around it. Again, it's an important event around the infrastructure of Tallahassee and what the Southside has meant to our community, to the Tallahassee community as a whole, and the wealth of knowledge that and history that lives in it daily. And thank you all again just for being with us. And we hope that you have a great rest of your week and just stay tuned to your emails for more updates, as well as emails regarding the SOS Southside Festival and anything UPHS related. Thank you and have a great afternoon.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, LaShawn.